We're going to start real simple. What we're going to do is model a piece for our tank just to begin with. We're going to aim at something like a turret piece, something really simple. Now we're just going to deal with getting things over to an editable poly state and dealing with some segments and moving edit poly pieces around to get a shape. So the way we're going to do that, we're going to go to Create and our geometry under standard primitives, and we're going to make a box. I'm going to drag out this box in my top viewport. I'm not going to worry about scale right now. And we'll hit Zoom Extents All so that we can see everything. Now, I'm going to go down here under Parameters. Now remember, if you click anywhere else in your viewport, or you go to add something else, you add another box or whatever, your parameters will move to go under Modify. So if you don't see your parameters like here, under Create, they're under Modify. Everything moves from Create to Modify, and then that's where it's stored. So don't panic if you don't see it under Create. Okay, under my length segments, I'm going to bump this up to about, I'll say 2 or 3. And under my width segments, I'm going to say 3. And under my height segments, I'm going to make, I don't want that many, how about 3? So I guess 3, 3, and 3. Now you can see I can see these segments over here in these viewports, but over here I can't see them. I have to right-click on the name of the viewport and go to Edged Faces, and now I can see them. That's true with any of the viewports. See, can't see them. And then I can go to Edged Faces and I can see them. I'm going to leave these 3 viewports in wireframe, and I'm going to go down here to this viewport to work. We need to see those edges or we're going to be kind of working blind. So that's the first thing we have to do. The next thing I'm going to do is convert my box to an editable poly. I can either do that by going up here and right-clicking and saying editable poly. You'll see that it'll convert to an editable poly. Or I'm going to hit undo here. Or you can right click on the object itself and go to convert to editable poly. And now you'll see that it says editable poly. That's what we want to make it into. We want to convert it to an editable poly. Editable poly's little parts and pieces are down here. There's 5 pieces to an editable poly: vertex, edge, border, polygon, and element. We're mainly going to be working with vertexes in this particular tutorial. So highlight that one. And you'll see that the little vertexes are highlighted here. We've done this before. And we've made these little blue marks here. Those are the vertexes. Now we've gone over how to select pieces before. Remember, you can drag out holding down the left mouse button and select. You'll see I've selected these all across here because I dragged through in the front viewport, which selected through. I could drag around more. If I want more, you'll see they're selected here, the red ones. Or I could drag all the way down, and you'll see that they're selected all the way down and through. If I just want one, I can click on it, and that'll select just that one. So make sure you're selecting the right pieces before you get too carried away with whatever it is you're going to do to it. I'm going to grab the top row of these by holding down the left mouse button and dragging around them. Remember, there are different types of selection types. We've gone over them before, but they're right here. And this one means selecting through or selecting around. So I'm going to have that turned off, and I'm using the Select tool for this. So I've selected the top row of these vertices. You can see them there. I'm going to go to Scale, and in my Perspective viewport, I'm going to right-click in this gray area here to select it, with everything still now remaining selected. And I'm aiming right at this big yellow triangle in the middle, which is going to scale in all directions. See how it scales down like that? That's what I want to do. And you remember our tank we're making is something along these lines. I'm going to grab the bottom row. If I flip this over, you'll see the bottom is selected. They're red. And I'm going to do the same thing, aiming right here at this big triangle. Not as much, so not quite as much. Looking at our little picture again, it looks like the front kind of shoots out a little bit in the back. So I'm going to grab these pieces here, these vertices, and I'm just going to move them using the Move tool and my transform arrows. Remember the plus and the minus key make the transforms bigger if you can't see them. And I'm going to move these back and kind of move them around a little bit so that they match up a little bit more with what I'm after. I think these pieces here need to move back a little bit. Something like that maybe. Let's move them back even more. There we go. And try to get a design that you think kind of looks good. So I'm going to do something like that. I'm going to move this piece. I need to magnify that a little bit. I'm going to move this piece back a little bit. And I think that looks all right. Oops. I'm going to rotate this around, take a look at it. Okay. I'm going to go to the top view now because I want this to be kind of octagon shaped. And I'm holding down Control and I'm going to select through the tank in the top and grab the side pieces. See these? So I just held down Control and right dragged around these side pieces. And then I'm going to scale those in. And what that's going to do is kind of pinch the tank in a little bit. That looks all right. And you can see we're just kind of modeling a little bit of detail in there. If you get some areas like the top here, see how these pieces right here aren't at the top? You can just select them and pull up until they're even with the top. Or a better trick is to grab the whole piece of the top, hit scale, and then drag down, holding down the left mouse button, and scale those pieces into each other. And what will happen then is they'll be perfectly flat. So it's kind of like a reverse scale. I can do the same thing here with the bottom. Using the scale tool, I'm grabbing one of these transforms, holding down the left mouse button, and dragging my mouse down until they kind of scale into each other. You may have to do it a couple times. That's a good way to make sure all the lines are nice and straight. See how this is kind of a crooked line here? I can grab right through there and scale it into each other and it'll be perfectly straight. It's a really good way to work. There we go. So everything's nice and straight now in my tank. There we go. And let me go check my design a little bit more. I think my design needs, if I'm going to make a tank like that, I need to grab the side. So I've held down Control and right-clicked to make a new selection. I'm going to go to Scale. I'm going to grab this transform here in the top viewport and push it out so that these sides are lined up straight, and that'll give us a little bit wider shape there. In the back, you can see it from the top view as I rotate it around. I kind of like that. Although I think I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to do it again, but over on this side. I want it to be the front. I think that looks a little bit better. Right there. Okay. So, whoops. There we go. Rotate this guy around so you can see it. This is the front. And that looks pretty good. If you want the top not to be flat, it doesn't have to be. You can bulge the top up a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just going to kind of pull the top up a little bit. That's the wrong side. I'll pull the top up here a little bit. There we go. I can kind a little bit. There we go. So that's what I'm going to use as my tank turret. So play around with the scale tool and the move tool and the select tool under editable poly, so you know how to convert it to an edit poly. You know the parts of an edit poly, especially Vertex, which is all we've used, and you just know how to manipulate the vertex using your transforms. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial, and we'll move on to the next one.